Get your hammer and nails ready as you become an elite property developer in this new game from Arcane Wonders called Dice Manor.
Now let's sit down and learn how to play.
Welcome to Wisco Dice. Hey, yo, folks, I am your host, the Conesy with the Most, and I am joined today by...
Hi, I'm Suzanne.
And today we're going to cover and teach you how to play the new game Dice Manor from Arcane Wonders. In Dice Manor, you're going to take on the role of a property developer who is going to bid on blueprints, build rooms, and construct an amazing manor that they're going to show off and advertise to all sorts of people who will come and take a look at it.
So before we get into this game, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we know to create more content like this for you. And one additional thing to add is that this copy of Dice Manor was provided to us by Arcane Wonders.
But before we go ahead and show you how to set up the game, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how the game plays. The game is going to play over 5 rounds, 4 of which are going to be standard rounds that we're going to tell you how they work later in the video. And then the 5th round is going to be a grand opening tour, which is going to be basically a special scoring type round. Ultimately, whoever has the highest prestige score at the end of the game will be the land's best developer and most sought after. Also happen to be the winner. With that, Suzanne, why don't you show us how to set up this game?
Now let's start by looking at the components and how to set up the game. I am going to be setting it up for a 2-player game. The setup is the same for 3 and 4 players.
Just set up the player area for that additional 3rd or 4th player.
Yes. So you're going to start with the game boards. We have the project board. Put that in best as you can do for reaching out for all the players to reach it. You have the prestige board, which locks right in next to it. This is also could be known as your point tracker. You have a gray house that is your round marker. So you'll set that up there so you know which round you are on, which is easy to, skip through that. And then you're going to have a pile of inspiration tokens that you're going to want to put out there because players will be grabbing these and using these quite a bit. And you'll have 100 point tokens for when you go over 100 points.
Hopefully.
Yes. And then, so this is the basic player main area set up, except we are missing the room tiles. So these are the blueprints that you will be purchasing. They all have different icons on the back. So you're going to match the icon up on the back with the space near the board. We have small bedrooms, bathrooms and water closets.
Don't forget to shuffle each stack. We've already pre-shuffled them ahead of time.
Yes. Entertainment spaces, larger bedrooms, dining rooms, which you will notice they have 2 icons on the back. So the dining rooms are actually 2 separate rooms, usually like a kitchen, food prep area, and the actual dining room. And then you have the wonderful large libraries, though when I'm playing this game, I like to pretend that they are actually the big game rooms. So that is the general play area setup. Now we're going to go on to what you're going to do for each individual player. Each individual player is going to choose a color. We're going to be orange.
I want orange.
Fine, you can be orange. So you get your entryway. All houses need a good way to get in. You're going to set it so that the main door is facing whichever way you want, but just note which way it is because you do not want to block people from getting into the house.
You don't want to block people off from the front door?
No, unless you're going to be like our hermit or something. So you're going to do that. You are going to take 9 dice in your player color. Take 2 of these dice and put them on the corresponding advertising track on the 2 far right spots. Numbers that are up don't matter. You are going to take your advertising tracker, which is a little house in your color, and place it again on the track. And then you have your prestige markers, which everyone starts off with 0 points. No one knows you in this business yet, so those are just going to go on the side here in the corresponding colors. Last, well, pretty close to last, you are going to have a player aid card that is going to go over bonuses and point scoring on one side and give you a nice overview of the phases that you are going to go through each round. So each one gets one of those. And the most important part of setup is you pick who the first player is by whatever your favorite method is going to be. For me, I usually just default to letting Conesy be first. So now there we are set up for this game. Let's see what a typical round is going to look like for you.
All right, so now that we know how to set up the game, let's go ahead and walk through a game round. So each round of the game, and again, there's 4 of these rounds in the game, rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, as shown in the round tracker, are going to have 4 unique phases. The first phase of the round is going to be the bid phase, followed by the collect phase, followed by the build phase, and finally the reset phase. Suzanne, you want to tell us about the bid phase?
Yep, so starting with the bid phase, players are going to take turns going around the table clockwise, starting with the first player, and you're going to continue till all players have placed all of their dice. On your turn, you're going to follow these 3 steps in order. You're going to roll your dice. You are going to choose one set of the numbers that you rolled, and then you're going to place that set of dice in different locations that we are going to go over here in just a minute.
So as you can see by this dice roll I have right here, I have a pair of 1s, a pair of 2s, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Additionally, I can spend at this time inspiration tokens to modify the dice rolls. I can either spend an inspiration token to raise or decrease the value of any single dice by 1, or I can spend the inspiration token to re-roll any number of the dice that I just rolled.
And I should note one setup step that I did skip is that each player starts the game with 2 of these inspiration tokens.
So in this case, I could spend an inspiration token to modify these dice. Once I am done with any dice modifications, then I move on to dice placement. Dice placement is very simple. I'm going to choose one of the either 6 blueprint tiles, which should be face up as well, the top ones.
Yes.
We're pros at this how to play thing, if you couldn't tell. So I'm going to choose one of these tiles. I could choose one of these 6 tiles, or I could choose one of these advertising spots, or I could choose my own structure to go ahead and place dice on. Unfortunately, at this point in the game, I don't have any. I only have the one spot in my structure, so I'll skip explaining that bit of placement until we have a few more things added on to the structure, a few more rooms added on the structure. So in this case, let's say I'll pick these 2 1s. This structure here requires 1s to bid on it, so my bid is basically 2 for the 1s. I will never get outbid unless somebody bids 3 1s on this location. If somebody else were to bid 2 1s, they would be the lower bid since I bid first. At this point, I'll take the rest of my dice back, and the turn would pass to my beautiful opponent, and she would go ahead and roll her dice and move on from there.
So before we go further, I want to go through these different blueprint spaces that we have on the board. So as Conesy mentioned, he would put 1s if he wanted to bid on an entertainment room. The way that you know what number you can bid is the number that is directly above or below the different blueprint spots. For instance, these water rooms, you need a 2, these small bedrooms need a 3, and so on all the way up to 6. You can put one or more dice at these locations. So you can also add to those later on in your turns. So that is the basics of the bidding for the blueprints. Bidding for advertising, which is a section in the middle of the board here, is you can put as many dice as you want of the same number in the spot. If you're the first one to bid, you're going to put them in spot 1 here. Second one to bid, you'd put it in spot 2. Now, if I later on go and roll some 5s again and I want to put them in this advertising spot, I can also add them here because I always am now committed to adding 5s for this game. I have more 5s than Conesy does, so I would move them up and push his down to the second spot.
Yep.
You can never go past this very bottom spot, so you always are getting some bonus for advertising.
It is worth noting that you do, at the start of your turn, roll your dice again. So you're not stuck or locked to the dice roll that you had from the previous round's roll. You're always constantly re-rolling your dice to be able to kind of reset. So that's how Suzanne ended up with additional 5s to be able to place on that bid. She didn't have to wait for another round or anything like that.
So one other thing that you can place for your dice to go during the bid phase is to go on a manor tour. So what you're going to do is you are going to always start at your entrance, and then you are going to create a path through your manor to do the tour, and you're going to do so by grabbing a set of numbers. And if I have this set here, I'm going to grab, let's say, the 2 4s, and I'm going to put 1 on my question mark spot, which can be any number. And now I have another 4 left. I have to put it in a room that either has a question mark or a number 4 in the middle spot for the dice to go. The other placement rule is that it has to be connected to a room that you already have marked for your tour. So right now, I could not put it, even if this was a 4 here, I could not put it in this room because this entertainment room and my entrance are not directly connected.
We'll explain room connectivity a little bit more when we talk about placing the tiles.
Yep. So, but I could put it in this dining room because there is a number 4 on there. And then I have 2 dice that I placed on this tour. And you can look at the player aid that has the manor bonuses. And it says if I place 2 dice on this turn, I get 2 prestige points. So there is a bonus depending on how many on that turn you are able to place.
This is definitely one of the ways that you can score a good number of prestige points through the course of the game.
Yes. Yep. So this is, you're definitely kind of just adding to it and building on your path and how it can go on another round. Because I have rooms with a 3, if I rolled a 3, I could place on there. Mm-hmm. So those kind of goes over the different locations that you can bid on or use your dice. And one last little bit of information is if you have multiple of the same number, like, let's just say I have 3 5s, I only want to use 2 of them for bidding on advertising. I do need to use this other one up somehow. So this one, I could split it up and put it to bid on the dining location. So you can split your dice up on your turn. You just have to use all that you rolled of the particular number that you chose.
All right. So now that we've went through the first phase of the game, we've assigned all of our dice to various actions. Now it's time to move into the collect phase. During the collect phase, we're going to resolve each location where dice are assigned on the board and things are going to happen. And some of the locations where dice are not assigned, we'll resolve them as well. So starting with the blueprint locations, we will look at the bid. In this case, this location, and we're going to do these locations in order from lowest to highest. So in this case, location 1 has a bid of 2 ones, so the orange player would win the bid and take the tile. Note they do not place the tile in their tableau at this time. They only collect the tile. Then they go ahead and collect their dice. Any remaining players that have dice assigned there, they don't get any tiles. However, they do get at least an inspiration token for spending their time. They've become inspired by the design and the blueprint that was there and it was available. So hopefully they'll have better opportunities to win tiles in the future. On a stack like this stack, where there are no dice bid, what happens is this tile never is stuck there. It's not like it's going to go into the next round for whatever reason. Nobody wanted it. Maybe in this case, nobody rolled that number, rolled the number 2 or wanted to bid 2s here. But this is not stuck. Instead, this will go to the bottom of the stack, flip face down, so that a new tile can be revealed in the following turn. Again, we'll go around and collect all these tiles. Next, we move to the advertising token. Here, we start with the first place spot where the orange player has 2 dice and has the winning bid. We will see that the printed on the board, we will move their advertising token 2 spaces forward. And then, for each dice that was bid, they will move the leftmost bonus dice 1 space to the left. It is worth noting that each space that the advertising token moves over, so in this case it moved over this 3 space and this 3 space, the orange player will score prestige points for each one of those that goes over. So in this case, the orange player has scored 6 prestige points. Once that's resolved, we go ahead and resolve the second place spot. Second place spot, we can see printed here on the board, gets to move their advertising token 1 space forward, and then they had 2 dice here, so they move this bonus dice 2 spots to the left. Of course, they covered up, they moved over 1 advertising spot, so they will score 3 points. This is another exceptional way to score points by advertising.
Now, what would have happened if there was a third or fourth player who had also placed dice here and was in this final spot?
So in the final spot, you will be awarded, regardless of ranking order at this point, 1 inspiration token, and your dice, your bid dice, bonus dice will move to the left 1 space for each dice that was bid in this spot. So if you were not the first or second place player in advertising, you still get some pretty good rewards. It is worth noting that at any point on this track, on this advertising track, if the bonus dice were to cross paths or go past the advertising token, or the advertising token were to cross paths or go past the bonus dice, the player will be rewarded with an additional dice that they will be able to use in future rounds. Finally, we would resolve pulling all the dice off of our manors.
So I have 1 die on my manor, which means for every die on my tour, I can get 1 point right now. So 1 die, 1 point, tied with Conesy right now.
That is in addition to the points, the prestige points you gain during the turn when you're placing the total numbers of sets. So it's an additional way of getting more points, kind of doubling down on those points for having guests tour your home. Of course, when they're touring your home, you're not advertising or gaining additional blueprints to expand your manor.
But early in the game, it is a really nice spot to put a single die if you have 1 left over for some reason that you just need to do something with.
Mm-hmm. So. All right, so that is the collect phase. I believe I've explained everything there. We'll go ahead and move on to the build phase next.
All right, so now you have these tiles or blueprints that you have collected in the last phase, and you need to build them into your manor, because who really wants to live in an entryway as gorgeous as this one is? So we have, the white player got 3 room tiles in the collect phase, and now they need to build them. So you may rotate a room any way that you want, but you must build rooms where a door lines up with another door. And you can never have a door and a wall line up. This has a door to door there, but this door to wall is a no-go, because you open that door, you walk into a wall. That's a house we're not building.
But that's a secret door.
A secret door to bang your head on a wall.
I mean, I don't know about your house, but my house, the walls are always moving and jumping out and attacking me.
That is true. I do some remodeling here and there while you're working, so. And the other thing is that we mentioned earlier is there's a front door on this entryway. You could not block it. As much as you would like to have this relaxation garden room right at the front door, no. You got to keep the front door open so people can come in and out from there. So that's the basics of it. It's pretty straightforward. Right now, these room colors, you're not worried about them. You're just placing things. So if I have these tiles, maybe I'll go like this and like that. So now all my rooms are connected. You can have a nice, next round I'll have lots of options for a tour on here. So that is the basics of how to build. So last phase in the round is to reset and get ready for the next round. So what you're going to do is you are going to advance the round marker. Round 2 now. You're going to take the first player token and pass it. Normally clockwise, but it's just 2 of us. Can beat that thing. And then you need some fresh blueprints to bid on. So you're going to turn over the top of each stack. So that is pretty straightforward and simple, but I just want to go through it. That's how you reset for the next round.
It is worth noting we do have this special tile we just flipped up. When you flip up one of these magical tiles, this tile counts as each room that's adjacent to it, that's connected to it via door.
For the color.
For the color. And that can be important, as we'll see later on, for endgame scoring. All right, so once you've completed 4 of the rounds, just as we described earlier, you're going to move on to the 5th and final round. During the 5th and final round, this is what's called the Grand Opening Tour, and is not played like any of the other 4 previous rounds. In this round, it's all going to be all about attracting guests and making sure that they're happy and touring your newly created manor. So what you're going to do during the grand opening tour is going to go ahead and start by rolling your dice. And just like in previous rounds, you'll match up the dice with similar numbers just to make it a little bit easier for you to see what you rolled and how you can place. And then you're going to select one set of numbers, and they're going to go, those guests will go on a tour of the house, and you go ahead and place them just like you did previously for the manor placement action. And in fact, at this point, you will even consult the bonus aid and see how many dice you placed and score that many prestige points, or gain inspiration tokens, or any combination of what. If for whatever reason you roll your dice and you can't place any of your dice, you will leave one of your dice at the front door. This becomes an unhappy guest. They're stuck. They weren't able to get in. So this only happens after each time you roll your dice. So what we would do right now is go ahead and roll the dice, because we were able to successfully place, and go ahead and basically rinse and repeat. And in this particular case, we could go ahead and place maybe the 5 here to this one. We got an inspiration token for that, and then go ahead and roll again, and we'll continue rolling until at some point we can't place a dice. Let's say, well, in this case we can, we would keep going. But let's say in a future round, like maybe this is the roll for the next round, we have a 2, a 1, a 2, and a 6, and I don't have any place that I could place that. That would become I would pick one of those dice and make it an unhappy guess.
So one way you can mitigate though is you do have your inspiration tokens, so you can modify the dice with your inspiration tokens like you could in the other parts of the game.
Yeah, either by re-rolling any number of them or by using the plus or minus modifiers to modify them. So in this case, she managed to roll a 4 and is able to place a dice.
And I can use this inspiration token to change this 1 to a 2.
Then, at the very end, once all dice are placed in the manor, each dice that was placed in the manor, let's say all of these dice except for this one, were able to be placed in the manor. Each dice that was placed in the manor will also score 3 prestige at the very end of the grand opening. Once that is all complete and you're done with that, then you're going to move on to final scoring.
So with final scoring, there are 4 categories that you are going to score in. So the first one is color majority. Each player is going to count the number of rooms they have of each color. So we're going to start here with red. I have 1 red, but then I have a purple magic room next to it. So that purple magic room is going to count both as a red and a blue. So I have 2 red. And I have 2 blue, 2 yellow, and 2 green in this example here. You look at the bottom of your player aid, and it talks about the color majority. First player is going to get 12 for each of these 4 color categories. Second is going to get 6 for each of the color categories. If there is a tie for first place, each person's going to get 8, and then there is no second place. But if there is a tie for second place, each player is going to get 4 points. So, there is nice tiebreakers for that with everyone getting a significant number of points. Next up, you're going to count your manor diversity. You don't want a manor that is made up of all libraries or all dining rooms. You need some diversity in this house to get people to want to come to it. So all players are going to count the different types of rooms they have, and if you need help, there's a little icon in the corner by where each dice spot is, so you can count those. And you are going to look, and for ours we have one of every type of room at least. So we have 6, which would score us 15 points based on the key on our player aid. And so it's you have to have at least 4 different types of rooms though to score any points. When we are counting this, one thing to note is you do not count this entrance. That is just hey, I'm going to get you in this house. It does not count for any kind of bonus. Then the next one again is the largest manor, where you're again not counting your entrance room, but you're going to count all the different rooms you have. You can tell a room because it's a spot that you could put a dice. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms in this manor to count towards this. Note that while the dining area is 1 tile, it counts as 2 separate rooms. So if you're going to have the largest one, you are going to get 12 points. Second largest gets 6. Ties are worked the same way as for color majority. Last is you are going to count your leftover inspiration. You're going to get 1 prestige for every 2 leftover inspiration. Unfortunately, I used up all my inspiration. I have just 1, so it is no points. That is how you score at the final scoring, and then you add up. We've been tracking this on your prestige board, and you look at who has the most prestige to determine the winner.
And as we said earlier, whoever has the most prestige is the most prestigious and well sought after developer in all of the land. And so all of the fame and notoriety is to them, and all of the rest of the developers are left wondering how to be as great as that person. So of course it is best to be the most prestigious. Of course, that is how you play Dice Manor by Arcane Wonders. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'd love to hear your comments if you found this helpful, or if you'd like to if there's a game that you'd love for us to try to teach you how to play, we'd love to hear about that in the comments below as well. Hey there, it's Conesy. Thank you so much for watching. We put out videos weekly here at Wisco Dice. Check out our channel for more great videos and don't forget to subscribe. We also have more great content on our website at wiscodice.com. Of course, we do this all for you, the viewers. So please like the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.